Hey, fellow HoloLive Simps. That is not a good way to start a video. Everybody, welcome back to the Blockbusters Show. I'm Adam Sykes, and today we're looking at a movie that I was expecting to be really stupid, and it is, but it's actually in a good kind of stupid. That movie being the 2019 horror film based on the Banana Splits.
Hey kids, put on your happiest faces, because the Banana Split Show is about to begin.
Where are the children?
Mom, get out of here!
Time's almost up. Why are you doing this to me? The show can go on forever and ever and ever.
Come on, you fuzzy son of a...
We're gonna have so much fun.
Like I said, going by the original trailer for this movie, I thought this was going to be the stupidest thing ever, and it just seemed like a cheap ripoff of Five Nights at Freddy's. But, surprisingly enough, it actually left me entertained. A family attends a live taping of the Banana Splits television series, but are forced to survive as soon as the characters go haywire and start a killing spree around the studio. Now, one thing I find funny is the Google description of this movie isn't even right. It's a maniac dressed in a dog costume wreaks bloody havoc during the taping of a popular children's television show. Yeah, first of all, it's not a maniac wielding an axe. It's a couple of animatronics. And it's not just one guy, it's like 4 of them. So, yeah, way to go, Google. It's not even fucking right. From what I gather, the Banana Splits was a thing from like the 60s or 70s, and it's from the same company that did like Scooby-Doo and all that kind of stuff, Hanna Barbera. From what I can gather, it was just a bunch of like live-action musical interludes between cartoons, and a bunch of different theories circle around this movie, but one of the most popular ones is that this movie started off as a Five Nights at Freddy's script, and then once Warner Brothers lost the rights to the property and it went to Blumhouse, they then decided to just take something that they had the rights to and rework it into this. And since Banana Splits involved people in a bunch of like anthropomorphic furry costumes and stuff, they decided to work it around that. I remember when the trailer first came out, I saw that and I was like, okay, that looks like a Five Nights at Freddy's ripoff thing, first of all. And secondly, they decided to make a horror film based on something from like the 60s or 70s. What the hell's next? Are they gonna do fucking HR Puffin stuff for like stoners? They're gonna get Seth Rogen involved? But it's weird. As bad as this movie is, it actually has a kind of self-aware charm to it that I actually kind of liked. If anything, this is kind of what the Garbage Pail Kids movie should have been, instead of pretending to be a family movie, which it obviously wasn't. So in terms of story, we begin with this family. We have a little kid who's into the Banana Splits, which in the movie's universe has been going on since like the 60s, and it's just an ongoing thing. Apparently it's the most popular thing at the studio that airs it. And the kid doesn't have that many friends. He has his older brother and his mom. They both love him. And then they have the stepdad, who's kind of this passive-aggressive dick who, spoiler alert, turns out, oh, he's cheating on the mom. Cheating, in which I mean the most PG-13 sexting in the world. So the kid's birthday's coming up, and he's a huge fan of the Splits, so his mom and his stepdad, who takes all the credit for it like an asshole, decide to take him to a live screening of the Banana Splits. And so they get to the studio, we see the Splits, and you know, at first we think they're just guys in costumes, but really they are animatronics, again, just like that guy over there. They were built by this crazed mad scientist guy that works in the basement of the building, and it makes me think, like, so is hiring actors more expensive than having to maintain these, you know, actual robot animatronic things that walk around and are operated by AI and shit like that? Would that be less expensive than just hiring actors? Once they get to the studio, we set up a couple of other things. We set up that the older brother has a thing for the PA of the building. There's a guy who's there with his daughter, and the daughter doesn't want to be an actress, but the dad wants her to be an actress so that way he can be one of those showbiz parents who sponges off their kids' success for the rest of their lives.
What you gonna do with all that junk inside your trunk?
Stop. That is disturbing.
Then we get these two people who are supposed to be like parody social media influencers. Like they're supposed to be like Instagrammer people who are always on their phone. And I gotta say, they made the guy and also the girl, but the guy specifically looks exactly like every single like YouTube vlogger, social media influencer, and Twitter bio kind of dude. He has the backwards cap, the hipster looking like button down shirt. He's got the like pop culture brand print shirt that you get at Target, and he has like, you know, the khaki shorts. And every single time he pulls out his phone, "What's up, fam squad? What's up, family?"
We're here at the Studios, the home of the Banana Split since 1969.
We're gonna be going live all day long, behind the scenes.
We set up those characters in the audience. Then we set up some of the characters that work at the building. We have the producer lady who, like, she's the one trying to keep everything intact. Mad scientist guy in the basement, Carl. We got Stevie, who's a co-host of the show, and it seems like he's the least popular character.
Is that man dressed like a child?
That's Stevie. Nobody really likes him.
And there's this one guy who decides to just pull the plug on everything. He says, oh, well, I just got a promotion, I'm now in charge, and I want to end the Banana Splits. This is the last show we're doing. So after you film this, we're packing up, we're going to sell the animatronics to like some theme park, and yeah, we're not doing any more Banana Splits. Now, obviously, this is where the programming goes haywire because they programmed the animatronics to believe the show must go on. So once the guy playing Stevie goes on stage and whispers to them that this is their last show, that's when you obviously know that something's wrong.
Why don't you spin it, Trooper? Might be the last time you ever do.
So after they do the show, which involves less showing cartoons because, again, you can't really do that. Instead, they basically just turned it into Double Dare, where it's like there's a bunch of, like, you know, challenges where there's like some zip lining stuff. You end up in a ball pit. You got to get a key on a string somewhere, and you know you got to hit a hammer thing. And it basically was just a knockoff Double Dare. People I mentioned earlier, the guy with his daughter who wants her to be an actress, the social media influencers, the main family, all that kind of thing. They get to hang out backstage, and slowly, one by one, because the animatronics are now reprogrammed to have the, you know, show must go on mentality, slowly but surely they end up killing people one by one. First is the guy that plays Stevie, who they kill with a giant prop lollipop and they ram it down his throat. Very similar to Trick or Treat, which gets mad respect from me because Trick or Treat is a really good movie. I just gotta say, the gore effects, really any of the special effects in this movie, for a low budget film, actually not that bad. This movie was made for Sci-Fi Channel, and yet it has way more integrity with the special effects than anything that they would air that was from like The Asylum, which was just cheap, shitty CG. The practical effects in this, especially near the end when the splits become like full animatronic Terminator-style robots, that was actually pretty good. They go after the wannabe showbiz dad, they go after some of the people that work there. I think the best kill in the whole movie has to be near the end when they kill off the guy who is now in charge, the guy that was responsible for ending their show. That feels like the most like cinematic, karma-based kill in the entire movie. There's also a scene where they chase after the asshole stepdad guy, and it's funny because like he's running through this like little tram area, and there's the banana car thing that they drive is chasing after him, and I'm like, dude, you can just climb out of it. Climb out of the trench area. You don't have to be running down that lane. And then just to show that the splits have gone absolutely ballistic, they kill one of the security guards. They don't show them killing him. They show that security guard earlier and imply that he's seen them around at night, still moving. Again, that probably was totally left over from a potential Five Nights at Freddy's script. The whole, you know, they're just walking around at night. But they set up that security guard early in the movie, and then later they have one of those lame fake-out scares where it's like you'll have a person like this from the back view, and then it's like, oh, tap him on the shoulder, head falls off. I've seen that in so many movies, and it's like, okay, starting to get sick of that. That's going to become a cliche. They also show they killed off another PA that worked at the building, and they also killed off all the parents that were leaving from earlier in the day. And then they show that all the kids have been kidnapped, and basically their plan is to have the show go on forever and ever, and I guess keep the kids hostage and locked in this like underground dungeon area. That whole area looked like a boiler room from like a Nightmare on Elm Street movie. So yeah, they're gonna do the show for the kids. They wheel out Stevie's dead body. They then torture the asshole that canceled their show. And so from here, the surviving people, the brother, the social media influencer woman, who eventually snaps and becomes crazy, and she ends up killing off the Carl guy that invented the splits. And then the three kids, which is the main kid, the friend that they invited along, who's for some reason dressed like a minion with a yellow shirt and blue overalls, and the girl that didn't want to be an actress. So those kids are taken to the boiler room area where they're doing their little show, and then the other surviving people have to go, specifically the mom and the brother. They show up, and they let all the kids go, and they also establish that one of the splits, the elephant named Snorky, is different, because the main kid, Harley, says, oh, he's my favorite one, he'll always be my favorite. Turns out that Snorky not only is the only one of them that doesn't talk, but he's also the only good-hearted one, because he ends up helping them escape and also helps defeat the other splits. And we get an actually good action scene between the mom and the two remaining animatronics. That was actually pretty well done for a movie of this type. I was expecting the movie to be really fucking stupid, but the movie actually surprisingly entertained me.
Banana cadabra, bitch!
And so a bunch of different story arcs finally get wrapped up. The brother hooks up with the PA girl. The little girl who doesn't want to be an actress tells her mom she doesn't want to be an actress. The kid feels more connected to the friend, and the friend girl ends up appreciating him more. Mom finally dumps asshole stepdad guy, and asshole stepdad guy finally dies. He's the final kill in the movie, and it's probably the cheapest looking kill in the whole film.
Oh, I don't believe this!
I guess not everything in the movie could be badass fight scenes. And the movie also ends with, I guess, hint of sequel, maybe? Where it's like the social media influencer lady is dressed up like a unfinished 5th banana split, and she's riding the banana thing with the remains of the animatronics, so... Overall, this movie was incredibly dumb, but it was entertainingly dumb. I was expecting something like Garbage Pail Kids, or something with just really, really shit, unfunny, forced humor, or even one of those like terrible self-aware horror comedies where it's like, we're not taking anything seriously, you know, stuff from like Full Moon Pictures where it's like, oh, it's bad, but it's supposed to be bad, so that justifies why it sucks. But no, this movie actually was kind of well written for what it is. The thing that I like about it is that it is self-aware. It's self-aware in the right way. It's not constantly wink, wink, nudge, nudge, and it reminds me of a good self-aware horror comedy. It was reminding me a lot of like Killer Clowns from Outer Space, where it's like, it has a silly premise, it knows it has a silly premise, but it's not constantly wink, wink, nudge, nudging the audience in a really forced way. It actually did it effectively, and the horror element to it actually was pretty effective. Not perfect, of course. It's still a very stupid movie. In fact, if you're looking for like a really serious, straightforward horror movie, yeah, don't look here. But if you want a dumb little fun horror comedy with, you know, a really silly premise, this is one of the best ones in terms of recent memory that I can think of. So yeah, surprisingly, I would recommend the Banana Splits if you're looking for a silly little dumb horror comedy like this. We just have to wait for the Five Nights at Freddy's movie to get made. Hopefully Blumhouse doesn't fuck that up, because after all, Blumhouse, while they've made a few good movies, you know, they gave us Get Out, and they gave us the Happy Death Day movies. They also gave us Truth or Dare. So hopefully they don't fuck up a Five Nights at Freddy's movie. But anyways, guys, tune in next time for the next video where I'm going to be looking at an instructional video. I found an airplane instruction video, not from the 80s, but from the 90s. So I'm very curious to see how this is. Hopefully it's not too boring. The reason that I'm reviewing it is because I've seen some people meme it, so I was like, oh, okay, well, maybe it'll be fun to sit down and watch and talk about for a video. So hopefully that's entertaining. And I like doing all these like weird, obscure VHS tapes that eventually get re-uploaded onto YouTube. So I really want to get back into doing that every so often for Blockbusters. So I felt like this was kind of a good opportunity. So until then, guys, I'm Adam Sykes of the Blockbuster Show, and we will see you guys in the next video.
She did it! He took it down to Hammertown!